People are critical of Maldives officials rescheduling the country's presidential election for November 9, putting the entire process of electing a democratic leader in doubt. A constitutional vacuum will be created as it is necessary to elect a president by November 11, when sitting President Mohamed Waheed Hassan's term ends. The rescheduled presidential election will take place on November 9, and if no candidate wins 50% of the vote, a runoff would be held on November 16. Hopes are high that the presidential election in Maldives would go ahead on November 9 with a new voter registry after police forcefully stopped elections scheduled for October 19. People protested against the cancellation of a rerun of presidential elections and called for the resignation of President Mohamed Waheed.
We believe that the only prudent way forward and a possible solution for the situation would be for today Dr. Waheed to resign and the Speaker of the Parliament to take over government until November 11th, which is just a few weeks, but for elections to be held under his tenure and not under the unelected or unrepresentative rule of Dr. Waheed.
Nasheed himself attended one of the rallies. The former president looks set to win the runoff vote on September 28, after he came first in the first round on September 7. But the Supreme Court called off the vote, citing fraud.
Basically, I'm calling for his resignation and for him to face justice. I would hope that the international community would understand this. And I also do hope that the Maldives military and the police understands what I'm talking about. There are elements within the military who would want to adhere to our calls, but we would like an orderly fashion to these things. And so therefore, I'm still hoping that Dr. Waheed would gracefully resign today or tomorrow.
Nasheed won the September 7 poll with 45.45% of the vote. International observers had all praised the conduct of the first round election. The Maldives planned the presidential election for Saturday, but it was stopped in its tracks without a single vote being cast. The police halted the ballot before it even began, despite a court ruling that the election should be held on October 19.
We will not be able to hold the election today because the police services have blocked our work. There are a lot of police officers down at the ground floor of this building, and they don't allow any of our staff taking out any ballot papers or ballot boxes or pencils, notebooks or anything.
In 2008, Nasheed defeated Mamoon Abdul Gayoom, who had ruled for 30 years and was accused by opponents and international human rights groups of running the country as a dictator. Tensions has been high in recent weeks. Men in masks firebombed a television station that backs Nasheed on October 7. The country's new president will need to address several issues like a lack of investor confidence after Waheed's government cancelled the biggest foreign investment project with India's GMR infrastructure, and the rise in Islamist ideology and rights abuses.